inspirational quotes and so that was the first sort of inkling of it. So I just wrote that down, and then other things would sort of pop up, and then I would write that down, and the next thing you know, I was just like, the character kept coming back over time and time again. But it's great to have a great idea, but if you don't have anywhere to express it, I had it in my notes, but I mean, that was just for me. It's just an idea, and I'm very thankful and happy that my career met up with our deal with BET, and that when we sat across the room from each other, it was a shorthand, it was a knowing, it was, as successful as I am in my career, you know, you gotta do a song and dance deal to get these shows made and sold. And to sit across the table from Aretha Jones, and ask me, well, if you could do anything, what would you want to do? And I said, well, I have this show, and it's about this woman, and I want to talk about, let me back up, Girlfriends, which I love, and is my first TV baby, and there was something eventually around the 5th and 6th season that I was feeling that was not completely true. And you have to stick with the formula. It's a comedy, and so it has its own life and legs. But there was more that I wanted to say about how we as women really operate in the world. And I didn't have a place for that until I had this conversation and meeting the minds. And what I think I wanted to say is, excuse me, sorry about that. One, I gotta look in the room, everybody looks beautiful, everybody looks handsome, but we really don't know what people are really going through. We don't know what they're carrying on their day-to-day. We don't know. I mean, and so that intrigues me and interests me. Even from the girlfriend's perspective, I thought it was getting false that 4 women get together in a restaurant all the time for every meal of their life and share everything, and that's not true. I mean, there's so many things that I don't tell my girlfriends. You know what I'm saying? Because you also don't want them to tell you the truth, because then you got to deal with it. And a lot of times we're not ready to deal with it. So I wanted, like you notice in the piece, the girl who sells her shoes knows more about her life than her friend who's the doctor. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yet you got to come to that friend when you have problems. Well, we wait to come to our friends when we're. So anyway, I was trying to be real. I wanted to express it in a way that I do think is true. My second comment, I think, I wanted to talk about the way society, I think it affects all of us, but particularly women, and particularly Black women, how we have to become, to put it bluntly, liars about who we are. Yeah. And we don't have the freedom because we are judged, and we are judging ourselves the most because of the continued, and so we are living a life of lies. And I kind of just want to have a conversation. I don't have the cure, maybe just stop lying, but it's hard. But it's hard to live and be free. So I wanted to talk about all those things, in addition to a platform to talk about what is happening in America to middle class. What is that? Why are we 2 clicks away from poverty? Is because we're dealing with so many issues that, our country, we're voting on people in office and they're not helping us. You know, I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about the complicated nature of love. I don't think a lot of women are, oh, it's funny that, that 42% thing? Right. I got a lot to say, so if you want a question, I'll stop. Okay, but the 42%, I remember that was a buzz. I mean, that was pissing Black women off left and right because it made us feel like we were these endangered species or something like that. And I wanted to get, so again, I'm not trying to solve the problem, but I do want to introduce, I want to have the conversation, and the conversation is complicated. No, and there's a lot of beautiful women who have plenty of prospects. But is it the right prospect? Do you have time for that? Or do you want it? Or maybe you do. You just want something for the night. But I'm just interested in the conversation.
Okay, that's a complete answer. I like that. One thing that we know about you is you're one half of a very enviable, beautiful marriage. So did you sit around with 20 of your single girlfriends? Because some of this was feeling a little too real. Holla if you hear me. All right, so where did you kind of pull from to kind of, were you sneaking in our closets, or are you doing?
I had everybody under surveillance. But no, really, part of my career, part of my job, part of what I do, I'm in essence, I'm a writer yet, but I'm a sociologist in a sense, and I just observe and listen and just see what's really in front of me. The human condition is very simple in a sense, but we make it very complicated. And you know, even though I'm a married woman, there's some things that I'm going through or did go through. Like for instance, in the love story, she has the guy that she recently found out is married, and then she has the old guy. There's always a David in your life, or a Davida, it depends. There's always that one that sort of marks a moment that changes you may not end up with them, or maybe you will, but you're probably married, and 5 years into the marriage, you're still thinking about the one not in a way you want to get back with them necessarily, but they've defined you in your relationships. And I think that's what I wanted to talk about in the midst of her trying to move on with her life. That's me, 100%, it's funny. So I can recall things that I've also been through, and then I also witnessing but like the whole caretaking of the mother, and the mother being sick. My family's going through that now, just watching my mother care for my grandmother, who's 91, and just how the whole family has shifted to come around, and how the first few years, very independent matriarch of our family, was walking every day, driving every day, doing everything can't, and she was very angry, and she already had a sense of humor, so it was kind of like crotchety humor, so I just wanted to put that up there. But it was also, a way to, I want to talk about that. I think a lot of families are dealing with that, and so I could go on and on, but there's a lot of me in this, and also observing and surveilling people.
Okay, and we're gonna open up questions to the floor, so start thinking about it. But before we do that, I know you can't give too much away, but since you're gonna make us wait until 2014 for the series to come, what can you tell us where these character stories are gonna pick up?
I knew you were gonna ask that, and I've been trying to figure out how to answer it, because what's difficult for me is, as I so enjoyed watching the audience watch it, is the twists and turns of life, and if I tell you what's gonna happen, it's gonna take away, I think, the joy of the ride. But I can tell you, every week, you will, in the movie, there's a lot of humor, but there's a lot of drama. And so I can tell you from week to week, there might be an episode that might be heavier in the drama, and there might be heavier in the comedy, because life is not all one thing or not. We live, and especially our culture, we survive through our humor. I think our strength is beautiful in the way that I think it's been bastardized in a lot of ways, that that's all we can do is laugh. No, we use laughter as a way to survive all that we have gone through. So you'll see, tonally, you might have it all in one episode, it might lean one or the other, but every episode, you will see the 4 aspects of Mary Jane's life. And those 4 aspects are her career, not just on air, but the working dynamics between, her colleagues and whatnot, and what her place is at the network. You will see her family life, and if you notice, she has a different dynamic with every single family member of her. So she's different things to everybody, and some people, depending on whatever the family challenge or issue or problem is, sort of takes the spotlight. And then there is her love life, which is very complicated, and we're going to keep it lusciously complicated. That was a lot of fun. And I really do think it represents real life. It represents real life in a way. I think that the teaser's already given away that the affair is still sort of in play. And I will say this about the affair. Affairs are all over television. And they're there because they're riveting, and they're gossipy, and they're fun, and they're flashy. My approach, or our approach, because you don't do it alone, I should keep saying, I have a beautiful team, but is that we really wanted to explore the anatomy of an affair. Not oftentimes in TV, it's the affair, when are they gonna get caught? But we started it from the top, and all 3 people are in play. And so I will say that there is there's a lot to come with that. And then David doesn't go away easily, and so I'll just say that. So the love interest will still be around him, and so Mark Hardwick, you kind of want to look at him for a long time, but But I will say this about Amari, and I hope that we'll have many seasons of this show, but every season we kind of want to pick, Omari Hardwick was the one we picked for this season, where he's sort of a special regular. And the way I think Damages has like a, they have one season of a really, a top star, Omari is that for us. And the fourth aspect, which I'm really excited about, is her alone moments. It's really where she expresses most of her humanity. I mean, looking at the commercial is it, sitting on the toilet, taking out her gels. I mean, all these sort of things are the things that really sort of define us, the truth part of us, not so much what we're projecting out there. So, I can say God.
Okay, that's good enough. I like that. Gabrielle said this was a right project for her because the writing was fantastic, and also she wanted to leave this legacy, behind, and she thought that this was a great show to do that. Why was she the right actress for you guys?
Well, if you see, the character has, again, many faces, and the one thing that I think we all know about Gabrielle throughout her body of work is that she is sort of like, she's a very sort of she don't take any mess, but she's accessible. You know what I'm saying? She's fun. She's like one of the, she can hang with the guys, she can hang with the girls. One of the things I think she was excited about doing and showing everybody, I think Gabrielle is so excited for you to see this and the world to see her work because she really worked hard, and I think it's evident in the movie and it's evident in the series. And that is, she wanted people to see all of her layers, and sometimes we sort of get typecast in our industry, and I think she just wanted to show everybody what else she can do. But I have to give credit to Celine for Gabrielle. They met on Jumping the Broom, and it wasn't the right match for that, but he remembered and recalled her then. And so when Celine closed the script, he was like, you need to go after Gabrielle. Now there was, you always have like a short list, and I was just like, really, you think Gabrielle? He goes, Mara, hands down. And I was like, well, I mean, again, she's beautiful, she's talented, and then I was like, okay, you think, yeah. And so, I haven't gone wrong with him so far.
No, you have not. All right, we're gonna open it up to the floor for questions. Start right here.
Okay. What inspired the relationship with Gabrielle, or I'll say Mary Jane and Mark?
Oh, what inspired that is actually in my personal life. I just wanted to see, oftentimes in the images of all, particularly gay men, I feel as though they want to reach for the over the top first, and that's fine. I mean, come on, I get it, it's not a criticism. But the men that I know in my life, they, like a lot of us, we don't walk through the door with our sexuality first. We walk through the door with our race or our, so I wanted to explore a character that was gay that was also, that's not the first thing that you think of them as soon as you hit the screen. Not that, we're definitely going there. I mean, that's definitely what it is, but really he's a colleague before he's that. And I just wanted to introduce a character differently. One, those are the people in my life, and I wanted to, and that was some of the sort of complaints I would hear about images and things of that. So and then it's fun. I think it's fun. It was a mislead that was just great. And then I also say the Don Lemon character and the Anderson Cooper characters, those are inspirations where they're images and so it's like, well, let's just go there. Let's have some fun. And then now, it's so funny because I just can't wait for the show to get out there because then the basketball player came, I was like, gosh, I'm right there. I'm right there. So I think it's time. It's time.
Fantastic. The mic's coming to you right here.